Hello, and welcome to another episode of Cosplay Cafe, where we are serving up a hot, steaming cup of cosplay. This week's episode, in honor of spooky season, we are going to talk about the ins and outs of working at a haunted house. We're going to talk about spooky makeup, and we are going to have a great time with one of my dear friends. Before that, please enjoy these ads from our sponsors.
I've been a superhero for a long time. It used to be so simple. You catch the bad guys, do the right thing, save the world. Then I met Aiden, and things got complicated.
Iris recruited me as a kid and turned me into their own personal weapon. I couldn't see any way out until I met Marty. But now we're going to burn their entire organization down if we can.
Forces of Nature, books 1 and 2, Scorcher and Thin Ice are available now wherever books are sold online. See www.kellyguentner.com.
Pokeballs by Crayley is your one-stop shop for handmade magical creations that celebrate all the Pokemon universe has to offer. Available on Craylevanest.com, that's CraylevanEst.com, and possibly coming to a con near you.
All right. And I got to say, Crilly's in the middle of a move. She would love to clear out some of her inventory. So send her a message, get some of that out of her house, out of her old house. And so the guest this week is a very special friend of mine. Her name is Dezi Fishbach. I'm still getting used to that because she just got married and I'm super excited about it. And then she moved halfway across the country to get away from me. So she worked at one of our haunted houses near here, and she is just really cool. And you all be nice to her because she's awesome. Welcome.
Hi, and I did not move to get away from you.
You moved to get away from other people, right? No.
No, not entirely.
No. Your husband took a job, or well, he's with the military, and
Yeah.
he didn't have a choice.
So I didn't have a choice.
Yay! Yay! But no, you're in beautiful sunny California, and it's exciting.
Yeah, it could just be a little cooler here. That'd be nice. I found a place in the middle of the canyon, so it is still in the 80s out here.
It got up to the 80s today here, so don't feel too bad. I was really mad. I was like, it's the middle of October. Come on.
We had like a few days of a cool breeze, and it was like a little cooler, and it was so nice.
Yeah, I feel you. We actually have had some nice fall weather, but today I was like, what? No, nope, summer. We're not doing this. You're gone. You're gone. Give me that crisp fall air.
Well, honestly, it's a lot nicer too for like haunted house actors when it's cooler out, obviously, because one of the tricks to the costumes, the makeup, and everything is just layers, So you're out in the heat, and it's so much nicer once it cools down.
Yeah, I can imagine. Also, the makeup melts if it gets too hot. We were talking.
Well,
or go ahead.
It depends on the makeup. So the makeup at our haunted house and that I've more commonly seen used is airbrush makeup. So it doesn't tend to like melt off, but after a while, it just kind of rub away.
Which airbrush is top tier. That's the gold standard, and I'm not surprised that a haunted house would invest in an airbrush because that is a tool worth investing in if you're making up multiple actors. When you're a single cosplayer, it's a little pricey. I still know cosplayers who have. And Cool Gamer's checking in saying, hey, hello. Hi, Cool Gamer. Good to see you.
Hello.
So I love seeing our regulars. We always have our regulars in the comments and cool gamers here every episode, and we adore you, dude. Like, you're awesome.
Aw, awesome. Well, fun to join.
Yeah, for sure. So Des, how did you get into working at haunted houses?
Honestly, just by being a nerd.
Mm.
I knew one person. So I went to high school, someone, she was a year or two ahead of me, and I was still friends with her on Facebook, and she always posts about the haunted house that she joined, you know? So for a couple of years, I was just like, it'd be kind of cool to work there. And I finally had an opening a couple of years ago, and I was like, you know what, let's do it. And so I applied, and definitely a bunch of people that work at a haunted house. So I was definitely accepted, even though I had no experience in the field whatsoever. Um, and that's honestly how a lot of people come into it. It's either people have been in the industry for a while, and they jump between houses, or do multiple houses, or they just knew someone and they're like, yeah, it looks cool.
Oh, nice. And how long did you do it before you moved away?
I did it for 2 years.
Nice. And I have here, let me pull up. So you sent me a bunch of pictures. So one of the pictures I have is of the actual. So I have, let's see. So this is Hysteria Haunted House.
So
That's the ads.
yes, so I worked at abandoned haunted house complex, so it was multiple haunted houses. So yeah, perfect. They also have a like haunted game room now, so that's a new attraction that I'm excited to try at some point. But in the individual haunted houses, so there's one that's Stalker that's outside, and then there's two inside. One leads into the other, and it's Hysteria that leads into Ambush. So I worked at both of the inside houses. I worked at both Hysteria and Ambush.
And it looks like they also have Interfere coming this year.
Yeah, that's like the game room where you solve a bunch of puzzles, but it's all like spooky and people are scaring you throughout it.
That sounds fun. And then they also have abandoned axe throwing.
Yeah, for only like $5 or $15 or something in addition to your ticket. I think it's only $5 though.
Okay, no, that's makeup. Sorry, the
I sent you a lot
StreamYard.
of
Well, no, so StreamYard photos are notoriously just small when I'm looking at them. So trying to make sure I pull up the right photo is a thing. So, anyways, we'll go through the actual makeup photos later, and they probably will not be in order. Spoiler alert, because I know you sent some of you and some of your friends who work at the haunted house as well, and they all look amazing. But we'll go through those. So, what is one of your favorite memories of working at the haunted house?
Honestly, okay, so there was one day where randomly we all decided to just put hats on this one person. And I have this video of everyone layering hats. There's like 30 hats tall on this one dude. And we're all just like circling around this one person and like chanting. And it's just for the moment.
The cult of the hat.
Yeah.
Cult of the hats, actually.
Well, and okay, so unfortunately it's no longer a thing, but Stalker, the open haunted house, it used to have like legitimate corn stalks in it, right? And there is one area where the actors all group up, and we have the rising, so that's when all the actors come out and like scare people in line, like when the house opens. But the area before that is just like gravel, and there's like a picnic bench and such. And there's one little corn stalk usually each year that like pops up and sprouts, and they always have a cult of people that like bow down and like try and get the blessing of corn stalk before like each night of the haunted house.
That's hilarious. I love it. Also,
Yeah.
speaking of regulars, Thomas Guentner, who also popped in to say hi. My very first
Hi,
regular on all my shows. My husband, in case any of y'all don't know.
Who I actually met first, because I met Kelly through Thomas, so.
Yes, Thomas and Des worked together, and another of their work friends, I think she had met me. Yeah, she had met me and befriended me. And I was a stay-at-home mom at the time, and Thomas was concerned about my mental health. So he was like, Turquoise, you need to do a play date with my wife. You need to take her out for some drinks. And Des was like, ooh, I want to meet your wife. Des, you had just turned 21. You're like, I want to go. Can I go?
Yeah.
And we've been friends ever since.
Mind you, that was the night before I moved, and I was so hungover, I was useless.
I'm a bad influence. I'm a very bad influence. Thomas
Fine.
says he still remembers you first saying Gucci to him, and he'd never heard that before because we are older than you, and we are not hip with the slang that the kids use.
Well, it was one of those things where I made fun of it and said ironically, and then just started saying it, and then it just kind of came out one day when I was talking to Thomas, and I was like, "Yeah, that happened."
This is who I am now. That's how
Mhm.
all my slang words, like, once I hear about a slang word, I start using it ironically, and next thing I know, yep,
Yeah.
I'm just cringe. I've embraced the cringe.
Yeah, I feel you there.
It's a joy of getting
So,
older. You don't have to be cool anymore.
was I ever cool?
You were delightfully nerdy, and to me, that's cool. But I'm
That's
not a good
fair.
judge. I'm as nerdy and weird and awkward as they come. So, got my approval. Yay.
I'm actually sitting right in front of my Sailor Moon shrine, so.
Yep. Yep. This is why we're friends. So, have you always loved Halloween?
Yes. I mean, let's see. Oh, you can kind of see it in the live stream. My little
Uh,
pumpkin and ghost tattoo.
I love it so much. It's so cute. So, do
Mhm.
you have like a good first memory? Like, what's your favorite Halloween memory?
So when I was growing up, I was at the tail cusp of like the 90s kid, like trick or treat extravaganza. You know, like we were in a small town, we were a village. So my husband says that, you know, it was still like 1,200 people, but it was only 1,200 people tops in the area. So kids would just take over the street. And there was just kids everywhere, and you'd go to every house and you just like hear everyone being like, oh, they have good candy over there. Oh, they're not giving out candy, they're giving out vegetables. You know, you got the whole thing just walking through the neighborhood like it was an event. Okay. And just being a kid in that time, it was definitely a privilege because it was just so much fun running around and like going out with my dad and just, you know, Halloween was one of the few nights we like really like got into it if we could. So
Yes. The 90s was the best time. Like,
oh,
I was a preteen at the start of the 90s, so I got to enjoy it a little, but the 90s is the best time to be enjoying Halloween. I remember there was a year, and the people in my neighborhood were very nice, that my friends and I decided to trick or treat when we were too old to trick or treat, but we're like, we didn't have costumes, so we just went. And people were still really nice to us. They gave us candy. We were
yeah.
like, yeah, we're like, they're like, oh, so what? You're like Sabrina the Teenage Witch or something, right? Like they were giving us ideas because I'm sure they were like, you know what? And this is the attitude you should have. They're like, let kids be kids as long as they want. And at the time, we're like, oh, we're doing it
Yeah.
ironically, but you know what? You're hanging on to the last bit because we were like 14. You're hanging on to the last bit of your childhood,
I
though.
mean,
And now look what I do.
at least where I grew up, at least where I grew up, like when the older kids wanted to trick or treat, it was never like, oh no, don't give it to the older kids. You know, it was just like, yeah, you want candy? I feel ya.
Well, I see the Facebook post where people are like, you better not come to my door if you're like, come on. If someone comes to your door and asks for candy, Well, and unfortunately, we live on a cul-de-sac, so no one trick or treats here, which makes me so. I've never lived somewhere where I've gotten trick or treaters. My house,
Oh,
growing up, people would skip our house, and I have no idea why. It was, and then apartment buildings never got trick or treaters, and just everywhere I lived, I've never had the experience of getting trick or treaters.
that's sad.
I know every year I've been so psyched, so hyped. Every time we get into a new house, I'm like, let's get some candy, let's put up decorations. And this is our forever house now. And we're on this little cul-de-sac. No. And we're just never gonna get trick-or-treaters. And of course now trunk or treats are a thing. So like barely any trick or
Yeah,
treats, even if we did move.
it is sad. I remember like back in the day, like the house, like I wanted to grow up and be the house that gave out full size candy bars, you know, like I wanted to achieve that status of life. Um,
Oh man. Oh,
and
I'm losing some skin. Normal, just
I
normal
was
things
just
to
gonna say,
say. I feel like now is a good
Midwest
time
goals.
to show this comment. Your pale palpatine, my friend Fred says, better get some Bactine on that. I don't think the Bactine is going to help. I think, yeah, that was great.
It's terminal.
I mean, I'm supposed to be a cyborg with this costume. Cyborgs don't
Hmm.
die. You just peel away the skin and keep going.
Like an onion.
Ogres have layers. Cyborgs have layers. And look, with all the AI stuff going on, Sarah Connor tried to warn us. Did y'all not watch every single Terminator movie? Come on. And now y'all are typing everything in the chat. GPT.
Yeah.
Sarah Connor. Sarah Connor. John Connor.
Okay, where's Arnold Schwarzenegger warning us about the future, though?
I wonder what Arnold Schwarzenegger thinks of AI. I wonder what Linda
Honestly,
Lemon.
yeah, I'd love to get that opinion.
Okay, so what's funny is was someone who was actually named Sarah Sarah Connor. It was spelled differently a few years back on Twitter who was warning people about the dangers of AI. Like she hadn't even seen the Terminator movies. Unironically, very concerned about the dangers of AI, which she's right. And people kept making jokes, and she's like, "You guys, this is serious. I've never even seen these movies. Can you please just take me seriously?" Unfortunate. Like that was her real legal name, and
I mean, it's not a
I
bad
feel like
name. Could be worse.
I feel like she should have just leaned into it, though. Honestly, at least she got a lot of attention. Just didn't help her, but yeah, that was a thing that happened. Gosh, I feel like it. I think it was in the before times before COVID. I think it was like 2019. It was happening. I was like, "What is happening now?"
And here we are still, though.
Mm, yep, yep. I But this episode is not about the dangers of AI. We're doing escapism and horror
Mhm.
makeup. So I'm gonna pull up some of the pictures you sent me, and we'll just run through these and talk about them. And like I said, they're out of order. So some of them are reviews, some of them are your friends. Let's go. This is you.
Definitely me. This was, I think, one of my first night makeups, which I tried to like replicate makeups and like things I've noticed from the makeups, like looks I've had on my like attempt at face makeup, but like definitely the professionals did better. But you know, you get the little, you get the face aging, you get like the white blinking to just like make you look sicklier, like more deathly. And then you get just like the creepy elements, you know, like the blood everywhere and like the um I don't know, just the unsettling aura of my face. No.
Well, you emphasize
um,
like the veins and like this is great makeup. That kudos to the makeup artists that work there. Like
Oh yeah. So this is the airbrush makeup, so you can kind of definitely like see like how quick it is to coat. Speaking of which, they do at least at Abandon, they have green apple flavored airbrush spray air. I don't know what to call it.
So it smells like
Um,
green apple?
yes,
Wow, that's pleasant because I would imagine it would smell horrible because it's
right.
aerosol. That's amazing.
I I cannot say enough praise about the haunted house I worked at, abandoned haunted house complex in Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin, or Sturtevant area. It was wonderful, and they had some really great makeup artists there. The makeup lead, I straight up didn't know who she was as like a haunted house character for the full first year I was there because her makeup was so good. I had no idea it was her. So her plus like she and another artist that we have there have like won multiple awards. So I cannot give enough props. And how the makeup is set up at this haunted house actually, which I don't know is common or not, but I think it's super good and super efficient, is you check in, you get a ticket if you are having them do your makeup. And so they call the ticket numbers. There's like a little ticket dinger that like keeps going through when they call more people. And there's like 6 stations, and they just have airbrushes at each station, and they just rip through people, it's so
Cool.
hard to do such a good face, yet it's like a couple minutes, and they do such a great job.
That's incredible. So Thomas said flavored weird. So is it flavored or scented?
Um, I actually didn't try any in my mouth, but it might just be scented, but I think it's flavored. I don't know.
Oh, interesting. And Cool Gamer 2 says, "Hey, I'm new here." So, hey.
Hello.
All right. So,
And
that is
then, so
crazy.
this, yes. So this is actually my friend Jalen, Jalen Slater. I think I have her social linked below. She is a great photographer. She's a haunter herself, and like she gets some of the best shots. So if any of these aren't a selfie, chance are she took them. So I definitely wanted to share some of her work, get her name out there. But also, you can just see the amount of love and effort that goes into each of these individual haunt costumes. So this is in our Hysteria house. They have the play on the 7 deadly sins for some of it, and the nuns are so cool looking. And if you think about it, it's mostly costume. It's just a face full of makeup, but look at the impact that makeup looks, or how it make it. Yeah. So it's awesome. At the haunted house, they do makeup, and they also do like little pre-training where they have tools where you can distress your outfits. So I'd say 99% of the outfits you see on haunters are thrifted.
Wow.
So they highly encourage it. You go thrifting, you get a costume together, and then you distress it, you dye it. They have a bunch of fabric dyes, fabric sprays, and then they also have like cheese graters and like, just a bunch of stuff to like abrasive the cloth to give it a more aged look.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy.
Just dressing makes such a difference. And like, that looks incredible. You can see the difference that just dressing makes on her nun costume.
Mm-hmm. And then this is another selfie. So this is another attempt of mine to recreate one of my makeup looks. The fun thing with this photo, though, is I worked at a very cushy office building in a very cushy area. And for Halloween, they said you could dress up. So I was like, okay. So I did like a take on my haunt costume. And everyone else is there in like Monsters Inc. sweaters and like a leopard print hoodie.
And they're like, oh, well, dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
Exactly. Well, and my costume, smelled like the haunted house. Like, I'm not saying it smells bad, but it's a little musty and it smells like sawdust. And I'm sure it was an interesting day in the office.
Oh my gosh. Did everyone give you a wide berth that day?
No, in fact, I had a lot of people compliment me. So, and this is a take on one of the other photos I have. I think I sent to you. on one of those award-winning makeup artists, what he did to my face one day, and I thought it was the coolest thing. So,
I mean, you did a really good job here. Like, especially considering you didn't have the training and the airbrushing and the professional makeup, but it looked really good. Like, kudos.
thanks.
Oh, that's so cool.
And this is another one you can see like a lot of the airbrushing effects. And what was really fun too was that they always gave them a bunch of tools, or they just brought in. And so like this one, there was some sponging effect that she used with the airbrush, and then just like literally the difference of like putting the nozzle really up close or really far away, and like the spray effect it does. So this was cool.
Nice. That's really awesome.
And,
looking.
It's really dim lighting too, so you also have to add like, imagine just that face popping out at you in the middle of like a very dark environment.
And it's smart to add like a little bit like pops of color, like the green kind of probably really pops under that dim lighting.
Mm-hmm.
So kudos again.
Yeah. And they always try and black out around your eyes. They black out your hands, your ears. So that way you try and blend in as much with your environment. This is actually a great example of the blacking out they did, because so the second year at the house, I was Anubis. And so I had a mask that went over my face. So, they only blacked out the little parts that showed through. It just felt so silly walking around like that.
Oh, it's funny without the mask, but ooh. And then the nice thing about the blacking out around your eyes, that when you open your eyes, it's just like, woof, there's my there.
It really draws attention. Yeah.
I love it.
And there's the mask. So
that mask is creepy.
I got a lot of good scares with that mask. I actually left it with the house for some other person to use if they want it or need it. I got specially made off a local person from Racine, actually, on Etsy. So that was really cool that I was able to support a local small business when I purchased it. And another thing with the costuming is everyone's more than happy to share an opinion or give like constructive criticism or offer help if, whatever you need to get your costume looking as good as it can be. It's a very nice team, family environment even. And you can see the detail in my eyes. I didn't actually think to put the gold detail on the eyes of the mask, and someone suggested it to me, and I'm so glad I did it. It looks so much cooler.
Yeah, that really makes it pop. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then that's actually me and one of the nuns.
Nice.
So
yeah, that looks so good with the gold. Just really ties it all in.
Well,
together.
And you can see that my friend who is wearing the nun costume, she has the shade over her face, so that's another layer in the heat. And we had a lot of we had an old time hotel area, and with the Seven Sins area as well, we had some 1920s, 1950s fashion. That's layers upon layers upon layers, and there are these people walking around going on all fours and all of these layers, and a congested haunted house where it's just a goal to get people in their body heat through. So it's just so much heat builds up in these houses, and everyone is just so committed to wearing these elaborate, awesome costumes, which is just a big shout out to everyone in the industry there.
That sounds really physically challenging. Good for you guys.
It can be. I mean, it really depends. The first year, it was a lot worse on my body because I was in an interactive zone. So I got up and I walked around my area a lot. Whereas the second year, I was in a peekaboo closet area. So I actually had a stool and I just sat on the stool, and then I could see when people were coming around the corner. And so I got up once I knew the timing and then peeked around, and so it wasn't as physically taxing, but it can be a lot of sitting there, or it can be a lot of activity.
Well, that's good that there's kind of levels. So then I'm sure if there are haunted house actors that need less physical activity, they can accommodate them. That's good.
Oh yeah, we had actually some actors that used scooters mostly for their main mode of transportation, and we couldn't get the scooters in there, but we had areas that they can maneuver the scooters to get them as close as possible, and we had sitting positions specifically for them. It's definitely one of those where they'll work with you if you are willing.
Oh, that's good. That's really good to know. And then there's another ad. Look at that.
And yeah, this is Emily. Okay, so cool dude named Dalton. He's actually won an award for this character. So with the Midwest Haunters Convention, they have like specific awards. I admit I don't really know the system that well. I just know it's really really cool. But he got such a good reward for this character, and this character is quite fun too because a lot of the time she wears a trash can around her because she'll just peek up from a trash can, and she is I don't know how tall this man is. He's like 7 feet tall. I don't even know. Because he has boots with like platforms too.
Oh my gosh, that's so creepy and awesome. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah. And I mean, just a lot of effort. You can see here. So some people got changed, but this is like one of the year-end photos for everyone that worked in the haunted house, which it's always fun because one of the owners has to do like a mad rush after he sets the camera timer and everything. But you know, just even in this photo alone, you see it. All those people, it's like probably 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. We're all super tired, but we're all having the time of our lives because of how fun this job is. And you can just see all the hard work that goes into each and every single one of those costumes and ideas.
And that's a huge cast. Like, I don't think people always appreciate that when they go through a haunted house, how many people are behind those scares.
Mm-hmm. I mean, our people are so the haunted house abandoned that I worked at. It was really cool because they built. So it used to be a bar, and I think maybe before that it was a church. I forget. They have like a whole background video of this, but it was this really odd shaped building which had like a big silo almost. And then that's where this bar was, and they completely converted it. So they built every single passageway in the upper floor and the inside, and they've done so much work to this place. But they built multiple scareway zones. So like one actor can sit in one zone and have like 3 different like openings to like different areas in the haunted house. So, you know, awesome that, you know, you can scare multiple areas, but then you also have to worry about like, okay, well, if I'm wearing this costume, does it make sense because I'm peeking into this area? But still, they were able to build a bunch of that into their haunted house, and despite that, we still have a massive staff. So
That's incredible. It's gosh, I can't even imagine the construction that and engineering that must have gone into like just creating a special attraction area like that.
oh yeah,
That's
well,
really
so
cool.
there's like 2 owners, or one's the owner and one's like a co-founder. I don't know. But the guy who started, his name's Corey. He used to be a funeral director actually, so that's kind of fun. And then he got his partner, who is Matt, and he works in pyrotechnics. So between the 2 of them, they just put in
That's
so
perfect.
much effort throughout the year because this hunt is only open for, you know, the end of September through the beginning of November. So for the entire rest of the year, they work on the haunted house. And like Corey has a trailer there that, you know, he like functions as like a little separate home for the nights that he gets there too late and everything. So like it is so much hard work that gets put into this house.
That's impressive. It's similar to what they do with the Renaissance Fair because they're only open a few months a year and then they close down the grounds and work on it the rest of the year, which is just wild. Like,
Yeah. It's a labor of love, that's for sure.
I love it. I'm here for it. I'm here for those weird little labors of love.
Well, and honestly, like it's such like it brings so much joy to so many people. Like, I do have to peep and brag a little bit because Abandon actually won the for multiple years, but the 2 years I worked there, the first year we got #1 haunted house Chicago, and the second year I worked there we got #2 haunted house Chicago, I think, which is just like a ranking system of the local haunted houses in the upper Midwest region. But hey, I mean, it is award winning for a reason. Like, it is one of the coolest haunted houses I've been to, and I've been to, oh gosh, probably 40 plus at this point.
Wow. So you know your haunted houses. That's great. That's awesome. Like, good for them.
Despite that, I am still just a newbie in the business, and I'm sure there's some things I may have misspoken about or something slightly here, but overall, like, there's so much to know about this industry, and it's really cool to be part of it.
Are you going to look for a new haunted house home out in California?
Yes, but I realized I've become a little bit of a snob after working at Abandoned.
So you're going to take time, shop around.
There actually is a haunted house that is 15 minutes down the road from me, so like that's perfect, but I don't know. Okay, so here, a popular topic here. They allow characters in their haunted house. So what that means is that you can be like Mike Myers in their haunted house. It's not just original character designs, So I mean, it's cool, it's fun, but like, you always get like 4 or 5 Mike Myers like crawling through the grounds, because not only one person's going to be Mike Myers,
Right. And yeah, that kind of is suspension of disbelief, right? Like, okay, I just saw Mike Myers.
But I mean, like, no shade. Like, it's still, you're still doing the job. It's still a lot, you put yourself at risk a lot in this industry as well. And, like we discussed earlier, a lot of physical activity. So, the costume doesn't really make too much of a difference in terms of the overall experience of the haunted house, which it is a good haunted house. It's just, it was only 30-minute walkthrough.
Oh, yep. I get it, though. Like, you're used to one thing, and also that the creativity that goes behind original character designs. If you get used to that, switching to basically characters that pre-exist, it's a different ball game, and I get it.
Yeah, well, and part of the thing that they really preach when working at a haunted house actually is riffing off of people nearby you, right? Like, if you have the same thing, which this is what I struggle with a lot. If you have the same thing you say for every scare, when you have a line of people, you're going to have to start repeating yourself. And so it's good to work with your environment and have as much of a natural scare as possible, right? It's some buzzwords in there, but it's, when you have all original characters, you can make your character act whatever way you want, And so, for example, at the haunted house I worked at for my first year, there was this girl next to me, and her name is Tweakers, so she acted like Tweakers, and she riffed so well with the guy who patrolled next to her. It was one of the team leads, and he was like, he did some of like prison area that we had, and he did some of the church area. So he had a couple different roles that he played, but he was a team lead, and so he was just so used to the environment, everything, and like him and her, they would go off. And another cool team aspect of like riffing off of each other is a lot of times throughout the haunted house you'll hear Marco Polo, because everyone's just riffing off each other, even haunted house people like way down the way that you can hear.
So you need to find that magic special something.
Yeah,
it's not just finding any haunted house. You need to find one that you have the chemistry with. That's fair.
Yeah,
it's an acting thing. Like, I get it.
But also, I mean, like Mike Myers and Freddy Krueger, like it is kind of fun to see like people attempt to be like, okay, what would they do if they met in real life,
Oh yeah, for sure. That's gosh, that's every fanboy's dream, right? And fangirls. And that's also fun to interact with them, and it's just a different ball game, like you said. So, and we do have more pictures, so
yes,
this one's really cool.
This actually, okay, so this is the girl I was talking about. She's the makeup team lead. She is smaller and she has blonde hair and, kind of emo vibes to her, right? I would have never realized who she was if I didn't see her taking off her costume one day, because this is what she looks like when she's all dressed up. This is one of her main characters. This character actually does a riff with Emily, who we showed earlier as being Emily's mother. So that's always fun, but she looks creepy as all hell. It's such a good job done.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And this is just some more examples of some good pictures of people hanging out. We're all just people at the end of our shifts, even though we're all dressed up all crazy. So, that one makeup lead, and then another classic clown we've had for forever. I'm less familiar with the other guy, but, definitely some great costuming and just veteran scare actors there. So
it's cool that you guys get to basically put together your own costumes. Like, that gives you a little more ownership of your character too.
Yeah, I was scared at first because it's a lot of, it's a lot of creativity that goes into this. And, sometimes creativeness doesn't always come very forefront to me. So that's where, like I said, like everyone was more than willing to help and give ideas for costumes. And at the end of the day, everyone just really looks great. As great as this can look,
This one's cool.
Mm-hmm. You just see all the different types of makeup, and wigs definitely are a good tool. You can see like the distressing, like in her sleeves, there's the hole in the jagged edge. So
yes.
And then a pro tip from a haunted house goer: if you ever want the black teeth effect, but you don't want to, like paint your teeth with like the whatever nail polishy stuff that I always get their little tubes of black frosting for like writing on cookies and everything, and then just swish it around in your mouth, and you can like drool as an effect with that, or it will just give you that mouth blackening effect without any of like the ickiness.
So much better. Smart.
Yes.
But make sure, I will say, make sure that it does not have charcoal as an active ingredient, because that messes up pretty much every single medication you could possibly be on.
Yeah, the one thing to be aware of during spooky season for sure is just you want squid ink, not activated charcoal.
And they put activated charcoal on so many things that are black, and I'm like, really? No.
Yeah.
It's medically unsafe because so many people are on medication.
Mm-hmm.
Even birth control, yeah. But anyways, this is the picture I was looking for earlier that is of the outside of the abandoned house.
Yeah, definitely the classic abandoned view. So when you're driving up on it from the highway, it's right off the highway. So you see the abandoned sign, in those big bold letters, and you pull up, it's a gravel parking lot, and you can see the axe throwing area off to the side, and you go underneath the tunnel of like those string lights. It's really thematic. It's cool.
I definitely need to make it out there. I just need to have time, because I assume there's a really long line to get through it.
If you get there right away, it's really not too bad. Or if you get there right before close, it's really not too bad. And honestly, if you go before October or after Halloween, it's not gonna be any kind of wait,
That's good to know. That's the type of insider tip I need.
For abandoned, actually, the second to last night, they do a blackout night. So in the Hysteria haunted house, you have a candle that they can we've gone away from having like the candles being taken away by the actors or whatever, but you go through and you just have like a little candle, and you're just trying to navigate. It's pitch black, and then people are staring you, and this is actually one of my friends that works in Hysteria, also by my friend Jalen Slater Photography, but she has like a mask on the back of her head. I love her costuming. I always thought she did such a great job. She's one of those people that would reach out and, peep and scare you and Hysteria and those blackout nights. And she had little dangles too.
Excellent. Like, creepy clown. Classic. No,
Right.
thank you.
Oh,
I love it.
he's one of the
So,
roamers, so he'll go through the crowds and just get people like revved up. And one of the
yeah.
safety precautions too is if you have a roamer that follows you, sometimes it's just to keep an eye on your group if you have someone that's maybe a little over their limit, you know.
Oh, that makes sense. That's really
Mhm.
smart.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
look at
this,
that.
so she does her own makeup, and her
Wow.
like she's a clown actually. So I think you can kind of tell, but like it just the makeup looks cool, the costume looks really cool, and Jalen again did such a cool job taking this photo with this lighting. So
I was gonna say the purple lighting just makes it green of the makeup pop so well. That's so good.
yeah, and I think there's like a little monkey with symbols kind of thing that they did too with that costume. So
And then another nun with that red lighting. I assume this is a Jalen picture.
yes.
Oh, it's so good. And then we do have one viewer submitted a photo. Our friend Melody, aka King Beast 1354, submitted some spooky photos. So I love the skeleton bell with Beast.
Yes.
And
Look
then
at that dress too.
I know, so good.
I love the costumes. Again, you can always just tell when someone puts some love into the costumes. They're fun. I think costumes are such a cool time of the year to, you know, I love Halloween.
Me too. It's my favorite time of year. And not just because it's my birthday month. I think the fact that it's my birthday month was just meant to be because Halloween it's my time.
Oh yeah. I was supposed to be born on Halloween, but I came late.
Rude.
I
Not
know.
of you, but
Halloween. Halloween's so much cooler than Election Day.
oh my gosh, for real. Wow,
Mhm.
that is a bummer.
I will say though, I have a little black cat, and her birthday month is October, so I just told her that her birthday's on Halloween. But my husband makes a joke every single time, every year. Babe, it's time to put away your favorite Halloween decoration. He proceeds to put my cat in a box.
Oh, rude. Oh, that's great.
So, yeah, the cute little black cat.
Oh, your cats are adorable. I miss them. And I miss you.
Thank you. I miss you too. I so I've had this Halloween costume for one of the cats. It's a little Sailor Moon like
Oh, that's so cute.
bandana. And
What is
I
it?
need to get it on one of the cats this year. I haven't tried yet. I got it in like, I don't know, some gimmick gift a couple years ago, so I gotta try. I hope I can get on one of them because that would look adorable.
I was gonna say because cats and costumes are not always a thing. But
One of
if
my
you
favorite YouTubers is actually Aja the cat, or I guess on other platforms too. And it's just this cute little gray and white kitty that likes getting dressed up and like puts on all these like cat dresses, everything. It's so cute.
I love that. You're gonna have to send me the link because I need to see that. I am such a sucker for animals and costumes. Animals and kids. So y'all send me pictures of your kids and your animals and costume, please. I need that. I need that
I love
dopamine hit.
seeing well, you know, I don't have any kids just yet, but I love seeing like all the little kids' costumes I could post every time, and all my friends like clever costumes ideas. Like, I want to be that mom eventually that does like makes her own Halloween costumes and everything. Like, it's always so much fun. I love seeing everything.
Yep. Take notes now. You will forget them, but because I always took notes and then my kids Halloween always came around. I was like, crap. Before I was like, I'll bet your kids' costumes are amazing. No, I'm too busy working on my costumes year round. By the time Halloween comes around, I'm like, oh, whoops.
That's fair. I know a lot of haunters that don't end up actually like making a Halloween costume, and that it's just like last minute crafts.
Yep.
which was actually me the other year, but I was pretty proud of it because I made my husband and I a matching Switch controller remotes out of like some foam and some cardboard.
Oh, cute. That is
Yeah.
perfect.
Took me like 5 minutes. I was real proud.
You know what, though? Sometimes those are the costumes that are the biggest hits, that are just clever and they don't take a long time.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I'd say the most universal Haunter costume I've ever seen is just, a classic butcher apron.
That is the creepiest, though. Like, splatter that thing with blood. No.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run.
That's always one of like the backup costumes I've always seen too, is like, oh, you don't have a costume? Okay, we have this.
It's a classic for a reason, though. That's just what it comes down to.
Yeah. Another thing, a lot of for like haunted houses, one of the most common props is just to have a prop, I guess, is to make your own like kind of noisemaker. That's one of the things you'll see in a lot of haunted houses is a lot of people, at this point are a little desensitized to scary things or like pop-ups, spooky things. So you got to find something else to get their attention to freak them out. So sometimes it's just something you can like wrap on a wall and make like a sharp thing with, or a classic that my friend did that I loved. I absolutely think it's the most hilarious thing is use a little rubber ducky.
What? Really?
His character in the haunted house is mute. He doesn't talk. He just has a little rubber ducky that he just like menacingly squeaks at people. And you know how many people get scared by it? Like everyone. It's great.
Because they don't expect it.
Yeah, exactly.
Serious. Oh my gosh, that's ruining rubber duckies for everyone. I love it.
Or the rubber chicken, I think one of the girls has. So.
Oh, that's fantastic. I was thinking like some sort of scraping sound would also be super creepy. I assume that's a thing as well.
Yeah, one of the leads has like it's like almost like a metal baton, not like a scary, violent metal baton, but just like a little thing he can wrap against the wall. He also tends to have a bunch of like fake like tongues and fingers that he like puts random places, or haunters are always willing to put things in their house. So I've definitely had people run around with like a finger sticking out or like a tongue sticking out.
Yep, that'll do it.
I think one of my haunter friends posted a costume the other day, and they were at an event and they straight up found a worm on the ground and put the worm in their mouth to like scare people with.
No, germs.
Commitment, okay?
It is commitment. Mm-hmm. That's also how you get diseases.
I'm sure they're fine.
But did you die?
I mean, yeah. Again, a haunted house isn't like this glamorous luxe apartment, like when you're sitting around waiting for people in a haunted house, like, again, there's just like a bunch of like dust everywhere and some wood, like sawdust, and you're sitting around behind like things that aren't painted. So to you, it just looks like you're sitting in the middle of a construction area, and you're just like twiddling your thumbs, waiting for people to come through.
Yeah, I did not expect it to be 5-star.
Is it 5-star?
No, I said I did not expect it to be like 5-star accommodations.
Yeah, that's why I have my little plastic stool that I brought with me, and that was like a lot of like the older people that have been doing it for a while. They were like, yeah, always have your little stool, and always have like a little pack that you can bring with you of snacks and stuff.
Bring some hand sanitizer, maybe.
That too, yeah. Or another one is, which I would never have survived any of the haunted houses without, is cough drops.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I lost my voice so often when I was working at the haunted house. Like every Monday I'd come to work and be like, hi! And a lot of times, like, especially like the zinc cough drops or just cough drops in general, you always want to keep one in your mouth. So that way you're not constantly running yourself hoarse and ragged.
That makes sense. Your friend who was the mute character had the right idea, though.
Yeah. Well, and everyone always was like, "Oh, you gotta like get yourself like a good haunt voice," and I'm like, I got nothing. Like, I can't do accents. I'm not good at it. Like, I got my little Midwestern voice, and that's about it. And so I asked my husband, military husband, and I'm like, "What's some good tips for like?" Expressing your voice, like being heard, without like ruining your voice. So he actually gave me some tips one day before I went into the house, and I just tried to pitch my voice loud yet also very low and just kind of growled.
Did it help like save your throat a little?
Yeah, actually, I'd like to think the reason that I actually had a voice on Mondays was because of like what he was trying to tell me to do with my voice.
So what were the tips?
Speak from the bottom of your throat.
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to describe, but like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It helps with not trying to just yell yourself ragged, which obviously, I mean, you can yell in a haunted house, but if you're just yelling the entire night, like,
that's gonna kill your throat so fast. Yeah.
There is this one like younger girl that I worked with, and her nickname is Banshee, right? Because like she last year was in one of the cages. Well, actually, sorry, my first year was in one of the cages, and she screamed, and you could hear across the entire campground where the abandon is, and she could do it all night, all weekend.
Oh my gosh. That's
And I'm like,
crazy.
the powers of the youthful.
That sounds terrible. Like on my throat. That sounds terrible.
Mhm.
We are at the end of the episode, so I'm going to give you the full screen and just ask you one last question. So,
Okay.
one sec. Why is this not giving me the option to give you full screen? One sec. Maybe I'll give you full screen. Alrighty.
I don't mind sharing either way, though.
Oh, I know. Nope. Yeah, it's just not doing that. Okay. Well, so what is some advice you would give to someone who wants to get into the haunted house business and is starting out?
Honestly, until you can find some friends, it's going to feel very lonely. That's one thing I struggled with, but like, you just got to put yourself out there. Like, just start saying hello to random people. What I did was I gave people random facts because, well, I'm weird, and that worked. And the more you start talking to people, the more you get wrapped up in it, the more fun you're going to have. But also just, make sure you stay safe, make sure you're always aware of your surroundings. We always wore whistles just in case something happened. A lot of haunted houses do have alcohol. They do have people that come in, quite late at night. So just be safe, and then also take care of your health. So again, drinking a lot of water, making sure you're, like having some protein during your shift, and also the tip with the cough drops. You've got to make sure at the end of the day that you're not completely banged up over this haunted house.
That's good advice. And where can people find you online?
I don't have much of an online presence, but I have my Instagram, the Mrs. Fishbach. I think is linked below. Feel free to reach out if there's ever any questions, because working at haunted house is one of the coolest things I think I've done. So
it is. And where can they find the abandoned haunted house online?
They are everywhere with socials, I swear. Otherwise, their Facebook page has most of their announcements and changes. So, Abandoned Haunted House Complex. Again, it's over in Sturdivant or Mount Pleasant area for Wisconsin.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. This was really fun.
This was fun. I had a great time. Thanks for having me on, Kelly.
Yeah, I'm so glad you volunteered. And Webfox says, thanks for this stream. Spooky night to all. Thank you for tuning
Happy
in,
Halloween.
Webfox. Happy Halloween.
Having a great podcast comes with great responsibility. And that is why I promise to bring you entertaining and informative shows and amazing guests to geek out with together. I love touching on subjects that have influenced pop culture, unearthing historical facts, and deep diving on information about mental health and finding the truth among this information. I also enjoy having people in the chat during my live shows be part of the conversation. I feel like I have the most intelligent viewers. If you are just as curious to know how this world works and have a thirst for learning, then Geeky Discoveries is a show for you.